What's up, creeps? I'm Exorcist.
And I'm Boo.
And we are Scurred. I think.
Were we scared this one?
No, this one's not super scurry, but
It had its moments.
it's a pretty good movie overall.
It's very good.
Yeah. So what on earth are we talking about?
Alright. We are talking about The Craft. The original from 1996. Not the new one. I haven't seen it yet.
So,
working on that.
if we could just clarify, 1996 was 10 years before you were born.
Yeah. It seems like a long time ago.
It does.
20 years ago. Alright. Let's talk about what type of movie this is. What type of movie is this?
Well, it's a witchcraft movie, and there's some creepy stuff in the mix. I think that we have to constitute witchcraft and witches under paranormal.
I feel like a lot of these are paranormal. Anyway.
Anything in the 90s was pretty poppy, so we could call it like a paranormal pop movie. You know, you got music and goth people and
14-year-old girls would have liked the movie.
yeah, back in 1996.
I don't know. I liked it. I'm 14.
There you go.
All right. So, you want to talk about the plot?
Yeah, let's talk about the plot. All right, so new girl moves into a new place. Parents buy this house. They walk in the front door, and there's water dripping through. It's a mess. Beautiful house.
Oh, yeah. Need some work.
It's got some problems, and they need to do some stuff about it. So, typical new girl stuff. She gets there, and people are, poking fun at her, and she's kind of seeing different groups of people, cliques. I don't know if you guys still call them cliques, but that's what they were in my day, cliques. You got jocks, and you got, popular kids, and then you have these 3 witches. And everybody's pretty well aware that they're witches.
Yeah, I mean, they straight in the middle, first part of the movie. Don't hang out with them. They're crazy. They're witches.
Yeah, pretty straightforward warning. And in their defense, the witches were also like, hey, that guy you're talking to, total DB, and you don't want to deal with him. Which turns out to be entirely true.
But she dealt with them anyway.
Right. So she ends up falling in with the witches, and they quickly decide, hey, she's got some talent. She's, moving stuff with her mind, and, they're like, she could be our 4th.
Right, and if you don't know what he means by 4th, the elements.
Okay.
Water,
yeah,
fire,
and directions.
earth, and air.
Fire, earth, air, wind, north, south, east, and west.
Right, you need 4. You can't have 3.
That's according to our witchcraft books that we don't own. But,
I know a little bit.
They gave us a little bit of a culture idea in the movie, so that helped.
Yes.
There's some karma built into the plot here. They start to do spells and kind of cast this on this person and this person and this person. And then the general rule of thumb is it comes back times 3.
Right.
And that's when things go bad in our plot. And friendships get torn, and I'm not going to spoil the movie. Go watch it.
Bad stuff happens.
But bad stuff happens, yeah. They have a falling out. It turns into 3 witches versus 1 witch. The good news is this witch is the strongest witch of the 4. Which witch is which? We don't know which. But in this case, we know which witch is the best witch.
And yeah, we know who knows her stuff.
Yeah. So, overall plot, I think that covers it, Did it leave some room for sequel? Yeah, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think it left a little room. All right, best scares.
Best scares. I'm trying to think if there's any real, jump out, scare me scares. What I do remember a lot of in this movie are snakes. Yeah. And I'm not super scared of snakes.
There was a lot of bugs.
Yeah, bugs. But they just kind of like you're sitting there and right. That's where you're like, huh!
You're like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so you got some jump scares in there. There's some changing of faces and,
There was one part that scared me. I mean, not really scared. I was deeply disturbed, having dealt with my own stuff, which kind of, isn't really the movie's fault. That's, I won't spoil it, but, there are parts in there where certain people are going to have certain reactions to it. And I think that was my biggest scare factor, was like it brought back some anxiety. But, you know, there were snakes, bugs, lightning, stuff flying. But pretty good scares when we did have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. You know, there's some, as I would call it, teenage turmoil. You know, romance problems and harming problems and self-identity problems, you name it, it was in there. But that's where we come up with pop culture. And by the way, kids, you grow out of that. You grow out of that.
We'll get there one day.
We'll get there. So yeah, I think the jump scares were okay. I mean, if you're a skittish person and you jump pretty easily, there's a couple parts that'll move you.
Yeah, and if you're scared of bugs or snakes, you're not gonna like that. There's a lot of that in it.
If you're not a fan of snakes,
I don't think I could see my grandma watching it. She'd probably just cry.
It's probably not like Anaconda bad.
Oh.
Another movie we can talk about, J-Lo, what's up, girl? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. So some good jump scares. What's next?
Ending approval. How do we feel about the way this movie ended?
I feel like justice was served. You know, so we can kind of walk away and we feel like, you know, you guys made your beds. Now I gotta lay in it. And I think any horror movie that ends that way, though it seems pretty rare, especially anymore, seems like a lot of times the bad guy wins. But, you know, when the good guy comes out, good guy prevails in some way, shape, or form, and the bad guys have regret, you've done something good.
Right. I think that was probably, like, my favorite ending to almost any movie, just because you never really see the good guy prevail and just be able to come out on top and feel good about themselves and be like, you're losers.
And I'm still the best witch. Which witch? I'm the witch. So yeah, I think the ending was pretty good. I do think that it, you know, left some room for a sequel. The main protagonist, Nancy, is going to be back in our lives very soon, tomorrow actually. Which won't, you know, you won't see this when tomorrow is today, but yeah, they're coming out with a second craft, so we'll talk about that in a second. Let's get your overall Scurred. We'll get my Scurred, and we'll see if we were Scurred.
Let me think about this.
Well, I'm going to give mine while you think about it.
Okay.
I'm going to give this like a 5. And I'm going to do that because, one, I don't think it was super scurry, but I'm giving it more points than I probably should just because I think the story is good. And it is entertaining. You can watch it. It's not something that slows down at any point. It just accelerates all the way through the movie. So I think it's a solid 5 on my scale. I think the kids are all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think both brother and sister and stepmom. Okay, we got the whole group.
We did.
Which
Everybody
never
watched
happens.
It. No, it doesn't.
Never happens. I think my stepmom in particular was very, very excited about it because it was a movie she loved. But, you know, we all, like, let's face it, my little sister's a chicken, and she sat through it. Brother sat through it. He actually enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Stepmom sat through it. So, I mean, really anybody can watch it.
Yeah. What's your number? What are you going to give it?
I'm probably also going to rate it higher than I should, just because the acting was good, the effects were good, there were a lot of really good parts, there were some heartfelt moments in there, actually, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Still not give me a number yet.
I said 5.
No.
Well, I meant 5.
Okay, 5 it is. Yeah, and there's good acting. There's some popular actors and actresses in there. Skeet Ulrich is in there. The lovely Nev Campbell is in there. You know, so all the way around, pretty good cast and crew. Now, down to business. What's our next part?
Would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend this movie. I think just for pop culture purposes and a new sequel coming out, I would definitely say go watch the old school 1996 Craft.
Okay, one last question. Is there anybody specifically that you would recommend this movie for?
I think it's a really good teenager movie. Even though, like you said, there might be some parts that some folks are sensitive to, I think it shows you that you can prevail. And, you know, maybe the clique that you fit into best is not the clique that you should be in. And just be careful who your friends are.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need any backstabbing witches in our midst.
Witches with the B.
That was good.
I know. I knew you'd like that. So yeah, I think I would recommend it to that, and then people that were fans of the film originally. 1996 was a long time ago. Maybe you watched it, or right around then, or in the early 2000s. Revisit it. I think it's fun.
Right. I mean, definitely. Mom loved it. She was super into it, and it was really great to see her super excited about a movie she watched when she was my age, and she was like, you guys were watching this, and she was genuinely excited. And
it was actually her idea.
I loved it too.
It was good. And that leads us to where we're going to end on this one, is that talking about the coming film, The Craft 2020, and basically it's going to give us a little bit more information on the old film. I don't know a lot about the film. I've watched the trailer. I don't really know what to expect. We're going to watch it tomorrow night. And we'll be able to give you a review. One thing that I did see in the trailer that creeped me out is they had a photograph of the protagonist, Nancy. So there's going to be a connection to the original film. It sounds kind of scary.
I have to prepare myself for this.
Yeah. So we'll get it in there. Overall, 5/5. Pretty cool movie to watch. Not overly scurry, but it's worth a watch. We think you'll enjoy it, so give it a try. Anything else?
I think that's everything.
All right. Well, as always, I'm Exorcist.
And I'm Boo.
Until next time.
Sleep tight.